Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to our new channel, Mental Health Matters. Uh, we will be exploring different types of mental health issues, therapies, things like that, interviews. Um, just what maybe you suggested, we'll do it. Gretchen is driving. She will be joining us on and off until she gets into some good service area. So she will be here. But what we're here today for is we wanted to launch with the person that made this possible. I had went to Reese a while back and asked her who she thought or what she thought of it. And she said, oh, yes, Gretchen. So now I'm going to bring to the stage the one that made this all possible, and with our very sincere thank you, Reese.
You little angel. Hi, Keilah.
Hi, Reese, how are you?
Thank you for having me. It's funny because you and I texted back and forth arguing when you said this is because of you. And I said, it's not. It's
It is.
because of you amazing gals. But I'll take it because clearly I'm not going to win.
No, you're not on this one because you did this. Thank you.
Well, I will take it because I think it's a beautiful thing. And this is very much needed. So I love you gals. And I think you make a perfect team. And I'm honored to be I think I'm your first guest,
You are.
right?
We waited.
I love that. And look at that. I recognize the whole chat. I love
I
that
know,
too.
right?
All of
I
our
mean, we
friends are
already know
here.
them all. Chat, I want to say hello. We will be doing a little things a little different on this channel just because of the privacy and the self. We want this a safe place to land. We're not going to be and I love being a Reese's channel because you get recognized, but here it's kind of where you don't want to be recognized. So we're going to try to keep that. We will recognize any questions. Anything you have a question, please, the mods. Thank you, Mandy, for modding. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kathy Ann, for being backstage. Gretchen will be in and out. But if you have a question for Reese or us, just please put it in there. The mods will pick it up and Kathy Ann will start for me. And we will answer those at the end. We're going to try to keep this to where I promised Reese an hour. And I'm going to go from here. So welcome, Reese. Thank you.
Thank you, you little angel. And Gretchen's going to pop in.
She will be popping in and out. She is en route driving where she doesn't have really good service right now, but she said it won't be long. And she's going to try to keep it out.
Should we identify Gretchen? Because everybody knows who you are,
Absolutely.
Keilah. I think everybody knows who Gretchen is, but she's a dear friend and she's a licensed psychologist. And I really love her. So, Keilah, it's your channel and your show. I'll let you do that.
Actually, Gretchen is amazing. She is a licensed psychologist. She's private practice. She helps. There she comes. She might can do it herself. Y'all bear with us on this launch. Gretchen is driving, but she wanted to be here, and I wasn't going to do it without her. And she's here. She's going to be in and out. I don't. Oh, never mind. I need to stop because Kathy's got the back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to stop that because okay, Gretchen is. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to stop and let Kathy do that because I'm not that familiar with it, and she will put her up on stage. Signal issues? Okay. Thank you, Gretchen. Okay. In the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Keilah, I like Lady Jane Out's question. And I don't want to feel like I'm
no, Reese,
I'll let you run the show,
please.
but I like that question, and I think it'd be good for you to answer that because I'm curious too.
Okay, so can you tell us why you decided to make this channel? Yes, I can. I work in mental health. I have a degree in mental health. I'm also a licensed paramedic, but I've been in the mental health field for over 20 years. And I see just in my state how difficult it is to actually get mental health. I mean, it's horrible. And I'm not bashing on it. I'm just saying we struggle with just to find resources. So when I got into this community, which is amazing, and I love this community, I seem to fit right in, hopefully. But I don't think I've ever seen a community that really needs a dedicated mental health channel. Y'all know I've always joked about, we've got Oprah, we've got Jerry Springer, we've got CNN, we've got, this. We don't have a mental health channel. And the need is real because in all of the chats, someone I see truly, well, I was in therapy, but my insurance, dot, dot, dot. That is unacceptable in any place. We need mental health options for everyone. And if I can start in this community, just like I did in mine here, then that's a good place to start.
I love that answer. And it's so much the truth. It
It
is so
is.
much the truth. I have canceled my last 2 therapy appointments now because I don't know about my insurance, my new insurance covering it. And I have noticed, and I was doing it once a week, and
Mhm.
it's so helpful. Um, a brief Reese bio.
Okay,
Really?
go ahead, Reese. Mhm.
I don't know. What should I say? I, Mandy, what do you want me?
She's
I have my
amazing.
own.
Let's just say this is the woman that made this escape 2 cults and is look at her now.
Well, thank you. I mean, yes, I came from the Church of Scientology. I was born and raised in that. I was in it for 38 years. And I think most of you know I was seeking help to try to get out of the church and was accidentally kind of exposed, right?
Yes.
And I was immediately disconnected from my family and friends who I had known my whole life. And my child was affected by that. He's 14 now. And I was in a, I guess, you know, very abusive marriage where I found out that my husband at the time was in a cult, and I was silenced and not able to talk about that on my own YouTube channel. It's called Relatable Reese. And I just recently got divorced, and now I'm finally talking about that as well. So I'm just kind of like Keilah, I'm just kind of on a journey of, I really am interested in helping people get out of Scientology, get out of any cult, get out of a bad relationship, partnership, friendship, whatever it is. I mean, she's right. People need this and need it more than, I've never felt better than when I'm either ending one of my lives, my own shows, because I find it incredibly therapeutic. These people mean everything to me, and they have cushioned the blow of the disconnection of my life with all those people, but then also therapy. So they're just intertwined, and therapy has helped me so much. It's very, very important in my eyes.
It is very important. I actually just got bumped up. I'm full transparency. I just got bumped up to 3 days a week for my therapy.
Wow, that's amazing. See, I
Yeah.
now looking back, Keilah, I wish I had done that. My therapist told me with my last insurance, I paid a copay. It was not a lot. And he said, "You can see me every single day." And I said, "I wish I had known I could have done more than once a week because I could have used that sometimes." But now I'm not sure the insurance covers it. And I can still see him, but it'll probably be about once a month. And that's okay. It's just I got to get used to that.
And see, I was in the middle of EMDR therapy when they cut my insurance in June, on June 1st, on an accident. And I didn't pick that back up until July 1st. I had no medications. I couldn't pay $800 a prescription. So I know how it is to go without therapy. And now I have to start totally over with my EMDR because that cannot be interrupted.
Right.
So yes,
That's
this
right.
need is real. And even I struggle with this. That's why I want to try to be here for as many people that want to be here.
Right. And like you made an important point, not to mention medications. See,
No,
I just see a therapist. He doesn't prescribe medication, and I'm not on anything other than something for my diabetes. But even that, I was trying to work with insurance companies to pick a new plan. And I said, without my insurance, this medication's $1,000 a month. I
yes.
have to have it. It's similar to something like you would say, you have to have it. And it's just not taken seriously enough.
No, it's
Whether it
not.
be a medication like that where I need for my diabetes or something that you get from your psychologist, your psychiatrist, it's like this stuff has to be highlighted more. It's not something we can go without.
And that's true because so I was able to get only my life sustaining medications this past month, which was my seizure medication. They just put me on thyroid medication and my anxiety medication, because trust me, that is a life-saving from everybody around me medication. I
Mhm.
want them to be safe also. That's a joke. But anyway, but it really, I couldn't get my ADHD medication. I couldn't get a lot of them. I did get my blood pressure meds. That alone was over $1,000 for 1 month. Just that. So yes, not. I don't even want to think about the mental health part of it, because
Right.
all of my patients at my facility, and I'm the CEO of a facility that we're a 501c3, and we house people that suffer from mental illness, because they have nowhere else to go. And
Wow.
that's where we wanted. My mother actually has been a registered nurse. She cashed in her retirement and built 2 houses, and she filled them. She said, I've seen them on this crisis unit. I've seen them. They come in, we get them stable. They go out the door. They have nowhere to go. 2 weeks later, they're back in. She said, something has to change. And she changed it. She
That's
made the way
amazing.
for
I
this.
knew that. I knew this background. I think it's
Yes.
incredible.
And now she's
Incredible.
retired and handed the torch to me. I don't feel qualified to walk in her shoes. They're big shoes, but
I think you are. I think you're amazing at it. I don't know how you and Kathy multitask like you do. You guys help so much on this side of things in YouTube, but you also have huge jobs that people aren't aware of outside of that. And I don't know how you do it. I honestly don't know how you can jump in and out. It's like you hopscotch it. And I'm just like, wow, it's commendable. It's huge.
I think probably ADHD might have a part in that.
Or you're just really strong, Keilah, and
Thank you,
Kathy
Reese.
too. Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, Kathy is
let's,
amazing. Kathy is
but I
amazing.
mean, we also can just look at it as serious strength and dedication to what you're passionate about and who you love.
Exactly. My therapist did ask me, Reese, she said, what would your life be like if you just closed that business or you left there? And I said, it wouldn't be, because that's not going to happen. And
That's
she
right.
said, well, you don't make the money. I said, I'm going to tell you, like everyone else, if you're in this to get rich, you're in the wrong profession. We're a nonprofit. I mean, if they can't
Yeah.
pay, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to kick them out on the streets.
Also, people who are in that profession, hospice, palliative care,
We do
anything
the
like
hospice.
that, any kind
Yes.
of care, nursing, no one's should be doing any of that for the money. And most of those people I've worked with for a long time too, they have huge hearts. They're not doing that. I mean, it's just like people who work in animal shelters. They're not
Oh my
trying
God.
to make money.
I
Oh,
couldn't.
I couldn't do it either, honestly. But I'm just saying, like, that isn't a job where people are selfish and doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
see,
it's
I've
huge.
been a paramedic since I was 21 years old. And
Yeah.
so, and I used to be all addicted to the adrenaline, the going, the running,
Yeah.
the trauma, so things like that. And
Absolutely, but you're a helper, and Gretchen is a helper. These people,
Gretchen is
most of our Gretchen's amazing, but I mean, even the people that is our community, like you were talking about in the very beginning. I mean, these
yeah,
people are the real deal. They're
yes.
helpers. They're reaching, they want to communicate with us. We want to hear their stories. It's so powerful. It's really changed my life. I don't know at this point. I thought 6 months ago, I was like, if I remember how I used to get, and I still do, I get that like weird feeling of like people are going to leave me. I'm not going to have a channel. I'm going
Yes.
to say something that offends, a bunch of people, and overnight I'm going to lose them. And I used to go, I've made it this long without a YouTube channel. I think I'll be okay. Now I don't feel that way. This has changed me, and it's helped a lot of other people. And it's just kind of ripple affected, the
Look at
community.
look at the ripple effect. This
Yeah.
channel exists because of you, Reese. And I want you to take that. I really do. You deserve
I'm
that.
trying. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm
I mean,
trying
it
not
was
to
just a
reject that.
dream in my head. You actually made the connection to make it happen.
That is very kind. I don't think you should put all the credit with me, but thank you. I think everybody deserves it. Um, I know Brian Lucas and I love you, but I think I always say we all built it,
Uh, yes, we do.
you
And
know.
everyone in the chat, everyone in this community, everyone that is hurting, everyone's going through grief, um, illnesses, chronic pain, just, I mean, literally, I can't even name them all, because every single chat I see, well, I was, but I'm not. And I'm like, I don't butt into anyone's business. I just file it away. And I
Mhm.
finally noticed that this is a need, and it is really a need.
Oh, for sure it is.
And
And you know that too because we know these people privately, personally.
right.
There's so many stories and details, private things that people have shared with me, losses. I mean, I can't begin to tell you, you know this. I've talked about it at length on my channel. I have thousands of private conversations I've had with these people that some people have said, I've only shared this with my therapist. You're the only other person. I mean, very private things. So there is a need and there's a reach for it. And people need to be more understanding of that. And I think they are. I think that's why we have the community we have. They are. The
I,
ones that don't stick around anyway, and we don't need
yeah,
them.
no, we don't. And we've already implemented like a zero tolerance policy. There's no three strikes on this channel, not
Yeah,
trying to be mean, ugly. We want everyone included. But if they're
exactly.
only here to cause any more chaos, this is not the place to come because we are not allowing that.
No,
This
this
is
is
a
the place
safe
to
place.
to relax and
Yeah.
listen and, just be with one another. Yeah, this isn't there I agree, the word chaos, this is not a place where you can bring chaos.
I
It's
should
not
have worn my
a
shirt
word.
chaos coordinator. I'm just kidding. But I do have a question for you. Um,
Please.
and it's actually something I've been wanting to ask, and now I get the chance to ask it. Being raised in Scientology, I do understand that, how you were raised, psychology bad, therapy bad,
Evil,
things
not
like
just
that.
bad.
Evil. Oh, evil? Okay. So how did you overcome that to get into therapy?
That's a really good question. So yes, I just want to make that super clear. And most of you probably know that, but the biggest thing that Scientology is fighting, that's one of the biggest reasons you're giving out your money to all their little different bodies of, funds, the Way to Happiness Foundation, the IAS, which is the International Association of Scientologists. All those things are to fight psychiatry. So my entire life, I have been told, you will be put on drugs, you will be electroshocked, and you'll be put into a place against your will. You know what you see in movies. They even have in California, what is it called, Keilah? It's a museum that they built. You can walk through
Oh,
it.
that life, the life, come on, the
I can't
life.
think of the name of it. I never saw it.
I've seen it on everybody's live stream. The life something of L. Ron Hubbard.
It's no, it's not that. It's
Oh, not that one.
the
The one where all
something of
the
psychiatry. It's like the Museum of Psychiatry.
oh
I don't
yes,
remember the name,
they have on
but
there. They're
they
going to put
also
your babies on
yeah,
medication.
they made
Yeah.
I've seen it a million times. They made a documentary about it, called Making a Killing.
I did
And
not know that.
yep, there's a documentary about it
Thank
called
you.
Making a Killing that Scientologists created. I may still have copies of it because they give us free copies to give out everywhere.
Wow.
And Industry of Death. That's what the museum's called. Industry of
Mhm.
Death. That's it. And apparently it's extremely upsetting to walk through. I've heard it's like really, really, they go back to the Holocaust and talk about that's what's going to happen again with psychiatry. Anyway, I'm giving you guys that because it's
Brian said history of psychiatry museum.
yeah, it's actually called Industry of, I think, unless there's another documentary they put out called that, but
Oh, that's
I
the
think it's
documentary.
called,
Okay.
yeah, it's one of those. So yes, Lori. So the point is Scientologists are terrified of psychiatry, and that's one of the ways they make so much money is they get to your heart and they show these kids on drugs and, Ritalin and things like that, and they talk all about the people who unalive themselves on those drugs, and it really does tug at you. It gets at you, so you give money for that. So being a Scientologist, it's absolutely terrifying psychiatry. So your answer to your question, when I um when I was found out, I really for the first time in my life I thought, is this what depression is like? Because I didn't know any of those words, guys. We're not taught about PTSD or um
Right.
even like postpartum depression, like things like that when a woman has a baby. Like you guys are so versed on that and you still are and you talk about it. I don't not as familiar with those words because we're not taught those words in Scientology. Um So I just kind of started to Google and I looked for like counselors or like who cannot prescribe medications. I didn't want to go to someone that's going to
Right.
go, oh, well, here, you need to just take this. And I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to talk, which is, I find to be therapeutic. So anyway, I Googled it and I sat on it and I thought about it. I cried and cried for so long after I was outed and lost my family. I thought I need to do something. I couldn't get out of bed. I was really having a hard time being a mother to my child. And I thought, this is really getting bad. And I think I need to talk to somebody. And the environment I was in, being married to the man I was, he was not supportive either. I think it would have been better if I had had a partner that was like trying to help, but he actually made it worse. So that's a long answer to your question, but
No, it's
it
perfect.
took me, I thought, well, I can't go in session. I've been declared. I can't turn to where I normally would, because normally if I was having a hard time, I would go to the Scientology org and say, I think I need a session. I think I need a repair session. I think I need an ARC break session, which is affinity, reality, and communication.
Mhm.
That was where I would go. So I knew there was no options there. I could not turn to help for help there. And I thought, I've got to talk to somebody. And if it has to be the enemy and I'm locked up and, shocked, then it was kind of one of those things. I thought, I can't keep doing
Yeah.
what I'm doing. So I'm going to have to find out what this is about. And once I did, it was amazing. And I remember leaving my first, I guess, would you call it a session?
Mhm.
Okay. And I
Yes.
thought, I remember like floating down the hallway of this place. And I was like, that was amazing. Like, it wasn't anything they told me. Like, it wasn't anything
Right.
they told me it was going to be. It was incredible. Like, I've had a billion Scientology sessions and I've never felt good leaving those, even though you have to fake it and go, wow, my life's changed. I'm going to go clear one day. I left this session going, wow, that actually helped me. I wasn't shamed. I wasn't told, you know, well, you need to go write up everything bad that you've ever done in the last 6 lifetimes because you're a bad person. I mean, they just validated me. And
And
I wish I could share that with every current Scientologist. It is not scary. It's helpful. It's not bad. It really helped me.
and I'm so glad you just said that. I'm really glad you said that, because when you said evil, then I started putting things together. Fear, evil, fear this, fear that. And
Oh, yeah. Lots of fear.
you have to take that step. So how did you go about choosing a therapist? I mean, like, did you
Yeah. That I'm not great at research. I'm really kind of a quick researcher as far as like restaurants, therapists, any a doctor's office. I just look and see who's closest to me
Mhm.
and who has the best reviews. I just look at like who has the best stars.
Joking.
Yeah, well, some people really go down rabbit holes and like want to get word of mouth. And
Mm.
I didn't feel like I had time for all that either. I thought I need to get somebody that can see me, that's not booked out or not. There was someone that was recommended to me and he was not taking new clients. Really crazy. His name was Walt Disney in Kansas City.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so
Well,
weird. But yeah, he wasn't taking new clients, but his like you could get on a waiting list. And I was like, yeah, I can't. I need to find somebody now that can see me and that isn't $500 an hour. Um, so I kind of did it that way, closest to my home, best reviews. Now I did go through 3 people to
where
get to
you're
the
at
guy that
now.
I have
Okay,
now.
so there's the extra. That was the next question. How many did it take for you
3.
to find what fit? 3.
And it just wasn't a fit. It wasn't like I didn't like him. I remember there was one lady that was like 200 or 250 an hour. And she was the least. I saw her and I remember the whole hour. She had no feedback other like everything I would say, it was, mm, hmm, like it was a lot, like not even words, just sounds. And I was like, I can't afford this. I can't pay this if you're not going to really like give me your input or ask me questions. So, I went to my regular doctor that I saw every 3 months for my diabetes appointments. And I said, I'm really trying to find somebody if you know anybody. And she said, well, I've got a list, but I've heard this guy is good. So that's how I found the guy I have now. And he ended up being the cheapest. Even out of pocket, he's $100 for an hour.
That's great.
Um, yeah, and he's fantastic, and he's a younger guy, and honestly, even in Scientology, in my personal life, if I get a pedicure, if I see a doctor, anybody, I'm really weird about this, I will only see females. I don't like even my
Right.
auditors. My auditors in the church, I would have to see men, and it made me super uncomfortable. I chose an all-female OBGYN practice so that if my doctor was on vacation when I delivered, I wouldn't get some guy. Like, I'm that weird about it. I just don't like men touching me. I mean, I'll hug a guy, but you know what
Well,
I
I
mean? I don't
wonder
really want.
why. Mhm. I
Yeah,
mean,
right. And it's not like a therapist is gonna touch me, but still, I'm just not
so
comfortable opening up. So anyway, it's a guy and he's younger and
how
he's
did you know he was a
just
good fit? I mean, what made you
well,
comfortable with him?
he and most of you know over on my channel, like everybody's like, we love Wyatt. He just has knowing he's a good fit because I got the most gains from him. So like when I would go through that hour, I found myself constantly going, I never looked at it that way. And the other thing Scientology really, really hits home on with us is they what's called evaluate for you. So if you go see a doctor that can't prescribe meds, it's still evil because they're going to tell you like, oh, so that's why you're afraid of men. Like they're going to tell you for you instead of you discovering it. That's not true either. And I
No.
can't tell you how many times this guy I've said, what are your thoughts, Wyatt? What's your input? And he would say like, well, I want you to discover that for yourself, but I'm here to guide and help, but we're going to find that together. And so that's another thing that's not true. He's not sitting here with a notepad going, okay, so that's why you are the way you are. I mean, it's not like that. So I think I just found that I had the most gains. I would find myself going, "Oh my god." And I would realize something and he would be like, "See? Wow." Like he would help kind of get me
That's
there, but I got
amazing.
myself there. Yeah,
Yes.
it was that I liked that. And I don't mind a professional doctor, by the way, saying, "That's why you are the way you are." That makes sense. Guys are trained to, that's the field they're in. I want them to offer the tools, but I don't mind that either. But my guy doesn't do that. He's just very comforting and if
I
I
like
if I s if it seems wrong, he'll go,
mhm.
"Well, I don't know, let's dig a little deeper. I'm not sure that maybe that is, the place where that originated. Let's go back a little." Like, he helps kind of guide, but he's not telling me why and where and how, you know?
And that's really great because it gives you a sense of accomplishment because you're figuring this out on your own.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it
but
gives
he's
me a
there to
bigger
guide
sense
you.
of accomplishment because of where I came from. I'm sitting here being told for 38 years, like, it's evil and this is what happens and here's the breakdown if you go see one. And it's like, I was big time lied to, big time.
Right.
So,
Yes.
and I love therapy. If I could afford to have therapy like 3 days a week, I would for
I
sure.
think my therapist gets mad at me because, like, I feel like sometimes maybe it's too much, but my doctor actually just ordered it. So I'm like, what could possibly happen in these 2 days? A lot. So
Yes.
yes, I'm
Yes.
taking advantage of it for sure. For sure.
Liz Tricks, I want to answer her question. I
Go
love her.
ahead.
Um, Wyatt's last name is Ezekiel's. So it's Ezechiels. And it looks like I have his phone number. I've asked him if I can give that out. It's not his personal, it's his office. Um, let's see. Yeah. It's Clinical Associates, and the phone number is 913-677-3553. And he can see you on like a Zoom, which is amazing. And I would like to get other people to see him. He's amazing. Thank you for posting that. And he's
Yes.
affordable. He's affordable even if your insurance doesn't cover it. He's either 90 or $100 for an hour. That's cheaper than anybody I found.
And that's how, like, my therapist, we do telehealth because and unfortunately
Mhm.
for her, she lives in Houston.
Yeah.
She has no power. Still, they have no power over there yet since the hurricane. She still does. We just do it by phone now, by speakerphone. I mean, like by phone
Oh,
because we
wow.
can't get on. She has no internet. She has
Yeah.
no power, but she doesn't even allow me to miss an appointment. And I
Wow.
put 100%. I don't know if Reese, what do you think about this? When I'm in therapy, and some of at the beginning, some of the hardest things I've ever done was had to really find and fill out this stack of papers she sent me an email one day for homework. And it was to identify 6 negative core beliefs about myself. Okay, first of all, that was just to see that freaked me out and really did. But I
Mhm.
took it one page at a time. And I put 100% into it because I want 100% out of it.
Right.
Uh, so
Smart.
I was wondering if I mean, does that apply to you? I mean, like, is that how you kind of look at it? You put in everything you can so you can
Oh God,
get the
yeah.
best out of it?
And honestly, like the first couple of therapists I saw, they were like at the I remember a couple of them said they were like, "Wow, like I had no problem opening you up." Like I just was like blah 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 blah. Like I realize it may be harder for some people. So it's kind of answering your question. Like for me, it's not work because I want to get all this out. I've been suppressing all this for so long. I'm like, our time is up. Oh no, because I just want to get all that trash out of me. So I'm definitely putting 100% in, but
Right.
I'm not saying anything different than I say on my channel. It just feels good to get it out. Like you don't have to pull something out of me. I don't get I can't recall one time in my life where I was like, I'm not comfortable talking about like I don't want to talk about that. It's too hard for me to talk about. I want to talk about this stuff. I want to get better. I want to make improvements and
Reese,
don't
you
want to
are
stay
the
where I'm at.
epitome. You're the epitome of why we started this channel because you want to get better, just like I do. I mean, I did not know that I had CPTSD. I had no idea until 2 years ago. And my whole life has been the same. You need to change. Don't do this. Be this way. Be that way. Be this way. Be that way. Change this way. And I'm like, I truly, the song that should be the anthem of my life is Three Doors Down. Let me be myself. And this moment in time, for the last 2 years, I've not had anyone tell me to be different. I've not had anyone try to change me. I'm actually seeing a therapist so I can better myself. And so I feel that
Love that.
everyone should have that opportunity.
Yes. And it feels so good. It just feels good to just go be yourself, say whatever you want to say. And so I do have to recognize and remember that some people that's not as easy for. It doesn't come as naturally, which, I have family members right now where I'm like, please call Wyatt, like set up because
Yeah.
it's exactly that the scenario I just said. It's not as easy. I have my family, a lot of them are very the opposite of me. They keep things very close to the chest. They don't share, and I think you'd benefit from that so much. Go talk to Wyatt. Go talk to him because I also believe that I learned this too. You can't dump everything on the people around you. They don't have the toolbox for that. They are not equipped. You
Right.
can't expect to get blood from a turnip. I can't call my mom and give her all my problems because she's just going to make me mad and go, well, that sounds like a you problem. Like that's not helpful at all. Or
No.
just get over it. Oh my God, that's going to send me through the roof. So
Yeah.
and that's my fault, not hers. You have to channel and find the right people and you
And you
can't
have to
dump it
know
on friends and family.
and
You got to
use your tools.
Yes, and they give you the cool thing about
Mhm.
therapy is Wyatt will go, well, here, this is why you were using a hammer. You need a screwdriver. Let me give that to you. So he gives me the tools, and then I go from this to this. And I'm like, oh, I've been dealing with it that way my whole life. That makes sense. I've been using the wrong tool. That's
That's
all. That's all it is. I've just been using the wrong tool. And I've crapped on all the people around me because I've been sitting here with a hammer when I should have been using something else. So,
So see,
um,
my therapist, she had me start this little thing called Car Talk because she knows my situation, home and work. So she said, just put your phone on record on video, put it on your dash or wherever, and just on your way to work. It's like a 12-mile drive. She said, talk about whatever you want to talk about, so you don't bring home to work. She said, when you get off work,
yes.
do the same thing.
I
Record
love that.
yourself and on the way home, get rid of work so you're not bringing work home. Well, that kind of
Yes.
turned into car talk. And I said, let me see about this. If that helps me. So I started uploading to my channel. I have a personal YouTube channel that has all my family stuff in it. And it's just personal. But I started uploading my car talks. And I cannot believe the response that I got out of it.
Wow.
Just from her, that was one of my assignments, just to because she knows with my ADHD brain, I have to have it written down in steps. So
Mhm.
that is one of the things when I get in my car, if I don't have service, to go, then I record it,
That's
bring it
really
home, upload it.
smart. See,
And
that's
then,
another tool. That's just a
yes.
genius idea.
And
That's
she,
what I
and
mean, guys. That is so genius, Keilah. Like, you can't expect to go to a friend that I don't care if it's been your best friend for 20 years. Like, you can't
no.
give people stuff like that. They don't have it to give. They don't have the tools. That's why Gretchen, that's why these people go to school for this and they've seen it, all different versions of it. A lot of times they can help. And I love that.
Yeah. And that was just, that just went along with, I was trying to piggyback on what you had said about we can't dump it on our friends and family and expect them to respond the same way that our therapist would.
Of course, I feel
Or
like a huge hypocrite right now because I say that and I have a YouTube channel where I dump everything on all of
that's
you.
okay.
But
That's okay.
this isn't about me.
I'm there listening to it. So I'm supporting you. So I'm going to ask you this. If have you ever had a conflict with your therapist? Because I know I have. So I'm just asking that. And how did you handle it if you did?
I can't say that I have.
Oh.
I mean, there have been times where I've gone, I guess I've said, like, I don't feel like you're helping me today. I'm not getting anything out of this. Like, please, like, I feel like I've been kind of rude to him before. I've said, like, are you tired? Like, I feel like you didn't bring it today. Like, come on. And so that's probably the biggest conflict I've had, but we smoothed it out every time. I think this happened twice.
Oh,
And he
he's been
was,
great.
oh my God. Yeah. And both times it happened, I realized it was me. Like, I was hitting a wall and I was kind of projecting on him. It was me having an issue and we got to the root of the issue. And then I was like, I'm so sorry I acted that way. I realized like I was holding something in or I hit some kind of a wall. And so, yeah, but not anything conflict wise with like things about me. Like, I've never argued with him like this is his point of view and I don't see that point of view. Nothing like that.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And on therapists, just a quick question, since this is our wonderful community. Do you believe that more therapists, or what is your opinion? Let me ask it that way. What is your opinion on therapists that are trained more with the knowledge of high controlled groups and cults and people that have left them and needing the help? Do you feel that there are some therapists that are adequately trained in that to help people? Or what
I
is your
can't find them. That was the thing that I looked for and researched when I first started looking is there anybody who's versed, like who knows anything about Scientology? Is there anybody who, the guy that I first picked, he was a guy and it said that he specialized in like traumatic religious upbringing. And I remember I did not click with him. I left feeling better, but I remember, I just wasn't feeling it. I kind of wish he hadn't put specialized in that because it just didn't feel that way to me. Um, Here's the hard part. Here's what's kind of cool. All 3 or 4 people, Wyatt may be the 4th. Every therapist I've seen, Scientology also makes it look like Scientology is so big and making such a huge dent in this world on psychiatry. When I went to see these people, every single one, Keilah, I'm not kidding. Except one. One was like, I've never heard of it. But the other 3 were like, yeah, I think I know what it is. Like Tom Cruise, right? Like, it was so hilarious. I laughed every time because I was like, no way. I have been
not
lied
Tom
to
Cruise?
for almost 4 decades. They may in the Scientology events that we go to, my God, I wish you could see like how big of just a change with your money. We're making such a huge change. They're terrified of us. And we've gotten all these psychiatric offices shut down because of you guys. Nobody knows who they are. They're doing nothing.
Wow.
They're doing absolutely nothing. But I do wish, and this is not on a therapist, it's not their fault. I just wish, like, if I was smart enough to go through school, I would love nothing more than to open like a practice for people coming out of Scientology or cult like groups like that, because I feel like I could be of help to that.
Reese, they also have peer support groups. Like you can be a peer support, and with your knowledge of, especially your knowledge. Gretchen, We might be getting
she in
Gretchen
here?
here shortly. Yay!
Do we have audio?
Yes!
Yay!
Yay! I'll let
Gretchen!
Gretchen go now.
Gretchen, talk to us. I love you. You're so cute. I haven't seen you in
All right.
forever.
I know. You guys can hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good, good. No, I've been listening. I was with Kathy Ann backstage, and I said, I like this flow that's been happening. I didn't want to interrupt that because I really have enjoyed the discussion, and so I wanted to kind of just be an observer right now.
Well, that's kind, but we also want you to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I couldn't do it without her either.
I'm going to have to come back on this channel when you are able to be here for the whole show, because I'd like to get your input on some things. Do you have any input right now?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, if you want, we could start it or whatever you think.
Yeah, go ahead. I've pretty much gotten down to the winding. How my next question was going to be to Reese. When does she think she may want to wind down in therapy, or is this something she sees happening for a while?
Oh, it's long term for me. I just need it. It's so helpful. And I was going to say one thing. That's a good question. You guys know Tommy Scoville, right? Most everybody knows who that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, not everybody knows who he is, and I don't.
No, I know.
He has his show, The Lifeboat, and what I love about him, because he's a male, and a lot of men I've been around are like, I don't need therapy. Tommy is the opposite, and living with him, he has a wonderful therapist that he is the same. It's like it's a lifelong journey, and he journals, and I don't do that, but like he is so good at processing and waking up and writing everything down. He gets up at 4 a.m. and journals, and his therapist is so cool. I just want to say he was here a couple of weeks ago, and he had a session, and every time he does, I go somewhere, I leave, I go to my mom's or something just to give him the privacy. And he got up at 4 a.m. and he told me, he goes, my therapist texted me at 3:30 in the morning and said, there were some things that I feel like I didn't get to share. I'm not going to charge you, but when you wake up, call me. I feel like there's a few things that we didn't really go over that I feel like are very necessary. I love that. I think that is so cool that they care that much and that Tommy is so involved in it. And I just think it should be long-term. Gretchen, I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, I see it as long-term as if I can afford it.
Sure. So a few thoughts about that. I think I always tell people, because that's a common thing, because as I told you, I don't take insurance. I'd rather adjust my fee to make it more affordable than have to go through. Anyway, that's a whole other thing with insurance. But, I'd rather have that flexibility and that control over, how long I see someone and whether or not they can afford it. I always say, because sometimes that comes up when people are paying out of pocket, well, how long is it going to take? Because they're trying to figure out, how much they can afford and kind of the frequency. And I say this, it depends on really what you want to get out of it. I have some people coming to me and are very targeted, and they'll say, I really just want to work on, conflict strategies, conflict resolution with my husband, or I'm going through a specific, grieving process over a loved one passed away, and I really just want to be able to express that, or, very in other words, we call it like more solution focused therapy. It's a problem, you're identifying it, and, they 8 to 10 sessions and they want to leave, and they kind of get past it. Other people, they'll want to, there's deeper rooted issues, things like trauma, CPTSD, abuse issues, really deep rooted like self-esteem or relational issues. Those types of things are going to take more time. So I think long-term therapy is important, and if it's feasible for them, if they're able to do it. Now, it's funny because in our training we're taught there's a beginning phase of therapy, like the rapport building, the trust building. There's a middle phase, which we call the working phase, and there's like the termination phase, where we kind of wind down therapy and allow that, like, basically process the therapeutic relationship and also be able to kind of empower them that they, in terms of resources and their skills that they've built up. That doesn't necessarily happen in real practical therapy. I have people that will see me. I have had people, they'll show up and will, as a new person, and I'll see them for like maybe 3 to 6 months, and then they'll fall off and stop scheduling. Then they'll come back and they'll say, this happened. So it can be almost like if you have that connection with someone, it also can look like that. Maybe not a long term for years and years, which I have had some people like that, but also they come in, they see you, that it gets resolved, and then life happens. I mean, for all of us, right? We feel like, hey, we've stabilized some things, we feel pretty good, myself included. I mean, I think I shared with you, Reese, offline. It's like I was doing pretty good. I had things, and then I just had, a pretty big trauma in November with my dad passing, and that was just shocking. So, and the way it all happened and everything. So, then I need more support.
Yes.
And
yes,
that happens too. And I think that was a long-winded answer to your question, but I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. And I can see that, and you also have to think about the fact, and of course you do, but everybody takes things and deals with things differently. Some people probably need therapy way more than other people because they just don't, they need those tools. They need to process it with another person who's equipped for that. And then I've met people in my life who I'm like, how do you deal with that? Like, you've gone through so much, and it's like they just almost let it roll off differently. That just doesn't affect people as much. So I could see it go either way. I really could. And neither one is wrong. But I just think it's, to me, mental health, this channel is called Mental Health Matters. It's not something that's ever going to go away. Look at what Gretchen just said. She had a major trauma in November, a major loss.
Right.
So we're human beings. Like, things are going to happen all the time. And I just think it's important to have a therapist on call that you can say, or have weekly appointments or whatever you do. But it just really changes you. It's so helpful.
I like let me put this up on screen. Okay, so Aria says, I've been seeing the same therapist for 17 years. It's definitely long-term for me, and I don't plan on stopping.
That's
okay,
amazing.
So I do have a comment on that. I've been seeing the same therapist for 2 years. That's as long as I've been in constant therapy. I don't want to change because she knows, she's been down to the depths of my soul. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I don't want to have to find somebody else to start over with.
It's like finding a new hairstylist. My God.
Right. I mean, but
I've never been. Yeah, you need to trust your hairstylist first and foremost. Forget therapists.
It's a terrifying feeling. I'm like, what if they chop my hair off? What if my hair is white? And I said,
what if the color isn't right?
Yeah,
or somebody short.
Reese, what if I look like a hamster? Yeah, no, it's no joke. It's the same thing. It's the same fear. It's the exact same fear. So I feel that way too.
At 1 o'clock this morning, I'm talking to Gretchen, telling her I'm in a state of anxiety. I mean, we're real people. We're real people here, And she was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I let my friend use her little split-end remover on my hair, and I'm not allowed to cut my hair. So after 6 years, this is what's left of it, and I've been wearing it up because I was just not wanting everyone else to see it, but I'm gonna have to take it.
I love your hair, Keilah. I love your face more, but I love your hair. I think you're absolutely beautiful.
So everybody does. Thank you, but yeah.
No, but I really do get that, and I mean, if you have to change or find someone new, do it, because it's still worth it to unpack those things and just remain a more stable person. Things build up, especially for me. Things bubble over and they build up, and just talking to somebody, even Gretchen and I are friends outside of YouTube, and we text back and forth and we talk, and it's amazing. She'll reach out and go, "Hey, I saw your stream. Are you doing okay? Are you all right?" Even that, guys, it's good to talk. It's good to check in with people. So a therapist is important to have, in my opinion.
And Gretchen, I think I want to say thank you, because you're there for all of us offline. I mean, I'll call Gretchen help, or what do I do about this? I mean, but that's why she is like Reese, that's why I say thank you, because connections matter. And
Way more than matter. It's huge.
yes,
I've
and
I
never
would
had
argue,
one before.
yeah, no, connection is the really, I think, the fundamental thing that gives us meaning, right? I mean, if you think about it, if we're in isolation, that's why I think isolation and despair together with depression is so devastating and dangerous.
absolutely,
Very.
absolutely.
And it just, I mean, you make a good point too, that like, it's not something you can put a price on. And when I say that, I mean, you could be a billionaire up in a mansion and have everything at your fingertips. But if you are not connected and you're isolated, I wouldn't take that any day. Connection is what's key. I feel like connection is, you'll live longer and you'll be a happier person. You can't buy it.
Yeah, I know that this month, and I'm trying to find out the exact date. I should have had that done already, but I didn't. For 988, I just wanted to let everybody know that 988, this is the anniversary this month. And it's another tool for everyone to, be able to use. 988 is the number you dial instead of 911.
Right.
If you're feeling like you don't want to be in this world anymore and you can't find anyone else to talk to, please pick up the phone and call 988. It is the anniversary of it, and it's being promoted everywhere. You'll see it on the Mental Health Matter shorts. 988 is just another tool that we can all use when we're really feeling alone and to the point of, desperation.
Wow.
That's a light at the end of the tunnel. Mandy is absolutely right there.
Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. I didn't even know about that. That's amazing.
988.
Well, and I appreciate this 988 that they developed that because there was like the suicide crisis and prevention lifeline that was before that, and it's just like a 1-800 number. And when you're in despair and when you're in that emotional mind, and it's like it's hard to even think straight. So to have a really a simple kind of 3-digit number you can call is really important.
I agree with that. Yeah, it makes it much more just streamlined.
Yes, and our 1-800, like Gretchen's talking about here in Texas, our 1-800 number that we had to try to find and, things like that for my patients. And we got put on hold for an hour and a half. Okay, not good. Not in the middle of a mental health crisis.
No.
So I really appreciate the 988.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. That's amazing. Actually, I didn't know about it. That's great. Yeah. How often are you guys going to do these streams?
Okay, so I guess is it okay, Gretchen, if I lay out the?
Of course.
Okay, so I'm gonna put. This is gonna be obviously not set in stone because it's real life. Things happen, but our plan is to do the main topic of the week with a guest, and of course, you were going to be our first guest, and then our mods are posting the Facebook page. They're going to go over there. Actually, after the topic of the week, everyone can move over there to a more private area. We have chats with different topics. If someone needs help with this topic or this topic, Gretchen will be very much interacting with them. I will be in there as well, but I'm doing more of this side of it. And then we're hoping that we're planning on once a week at the end of the week, maybe Thursday or Friday, whenever Gretchen's schedule is available. We're going to do, people want to be seen. They don't want to just be typing. So we're going to do an actual like a Zoom or Facebook Messenger group peer support where people can see each other and talk
kind of like we did yesterday on my channel.
Ma'am?
Like we did yesterday with the Zoom call? Is that what you mean?
Yes, like that. Yes, like that.
Wow, that's cool.
And it won't be recorded, so it's privacy.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
Keilah and I were very on the same page about safety, privacy, and confidentiality being number one. Well, I guess number 1, 2, and 3, but all in the same, because we need to have a safe place for people to go to be able to talk about things. And not worry about things the best we can to eliminate people that have malicious intent, people that don't, are not there for the right reasons, trolls, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, we want it to be a real safe place, and the hope is to have some continuity with like talking about like what we talked about today, or what you all talked about today, is therapy. How do you find a therapist? Accessing mental health. What are some of the ways that therapy can help, and then having some follow through maybe with that as a conversation in the video meeting.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just read a comment. I really wanted to face is helpful for sure. That's what I get a lot of. That's why I had approached Gretchen with that. That is absolutely correct. People want to know they're being seen. You can be heard anywhere. They want to know that they're being seen.
And they should, right? I mean, that's
absolutely. And so Gretchen,
matters.
I'm so thankful for that part of it. And
I just want to clarify something that we already put in the Facebook, but even though I'm a psychologist and stuff, obviously it's not a replacement for therapy. It's we want it to really be peer support. Yeah. And that's and I myself, I've been open with you, Reese. I think when I was we did that conversation together. I'm a therapist that gets therapy, so I am no different than anyone else in that sense. So I want to make sure that I have some education. I can provide some like educational resources or tools, but I'm not necessarily facilitating as a therapist. I would just be there to help, facilitate the conversation, in other words.
Yeah, you're not there to be practicing with anybody.
Yeah, there's no practicing. It's just going to be, but she can facilitate it and and lead the conversation and answer questions.
You can be there as a guide, I think, for sure. But yeah, it's definitely not to have a one-on-one session for sure.
I believe that in the Facebook group, which that people do slip through, but when you've got Kathy Ann and John and I and the little investigators we are, we're going to do everything we can to keep it very, very safe in there. And there's a zero tolerance. Tolerance.
People like that stand out anyway, and they're gone before they even get started.
But while this is going on in the Facebook, and I will be popping in and out during the week, I'm going to be having a Q&A. I will be having, another guest on or something like that. Just something to keep the channel, people being able to come to the channel if they can't make it to the Facebook group. Do 30 minutes of something and do an hour of Q&A. We want to keep the YouTube channel not just for one time a week, but we do want to focus on, and we want to give people's feedback. So this is the way I could do that during the week while she's helping other people in the Facebook group.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you plan to, but like we talked about in our Zoom call yesterday, I think it would be amazing to have guests on.
The panel.
Yeah. I mean, even talking yesterday with Jimena, she's just so smart and she's been going through therapy. And I really liked her point of view. I'm not volunteering her. Maybe she would.
I spoke to her last night. She's in the chat. I've already spoke to her last night.
Okay, good. I think she would be a really important person to talk with.
She's amazing.
She had some great input. So yeah, I think that would make it really fun too.
Boundaries.
I love what you guys are doing
with her.
Well, and there's something very powerful, as you know, Reese, and what you've done is speaking your truth and speaking what is on your heart, not only to these small group of loved ones around you, but in a more public format. It's like I'm feeling empowered to be able to say that out loud is just therapeutic and healing in and of itself. So maybe having an outlet for people that they can share it with others, and like you said, having other people on that maybe not necessarily are always on or have their own channel might be powerful as well.
Yes, I agree with that so much. It's just not easy for people to remember that. It's not easy for people to come out and speak whatever their truth is and what happened and what they, where they're willing to go. So I think this is so needed for that too, to make people feel safe and comfortable to talk about it.
And now we do have a privacy thing on the Facebook. The links that we post are only good for so many hours and so many clicks. So if someone finds that they're trying to get into the link on the community page of the channel and it's not working, please comment and let us know, and we will try to keep the new links because it renews like it's very, very private.
Am I in that group?
Yes, you are, Reese. I saw your name this morning.
Okay, good. Okay.
Mental Health Matters. It's the email address is and I know it's long, but it's the only one I could get close to, but it's your mental health matters to us at gmail.com.
Okay, the only reason I ask if I'm in it is because I don't
You're in it.
remember answering the
I don't
security
think
questions.
I just got them up last night, so I'm going to ask everyone that's already in there, which is about 16, if they could go in and do that. We're going to take care of that on that side. Yeah.
Okay.
And it gives our whole disclaimers, and I think it's important for people to understand those.
Definitely, yeah, especially for that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have a question on back on therapy, and maybe for Gretchen and you, Reese. Have you ever had family therapy, group therapy, therapy with someone else that you know, like bringing into your therapy session? Because I know I have it. I don't feel comfortable with that yet, and I'm just wondering what's your thought.
I wanted to with my ex-husband, but the moment passed for me pretty almost immediately. I thought he had crossed so many boundaries happily, like kind of just intentionally and mean for sport, that I thought this would be a giant waste of money. This person is enjoying me being in pain. So no, I've only done it with myself. Now I would love to, if it was necessary, if I have a partner in the future, and I mean, I have one now, but I don't feel like it's necessary. But I know for a fact, Tommy and I have talked about it. We would both sit down and absolutely talk with a therapist if that was something we need to do. I feel like it has to be the right setting. You have to have the right person to do it with, whether it be a parent or, a friend or a spouse. They have to be willing to be respectful. And I didn't experience that. I didn't have that.
I was hoping that, like my partner of 6 years, I really wanted him just to sit down and do it. I mean, I do telemed, to sit down and have one session with me so he could understand from maybe her point of view and see my point of view, because he wasn't supportive at first of me being in therapy. And, he was, but like I told him, I'm not in therapy for me. I'm in therapy for you. And that, it was a joke, but not really, and, but I do go to therapy for me. And now there's things that are coming out now that, no, I don't want anyone to hear. So that's why I was wondering.
For me, I haven't done it so much, but here in especially after some things that transpired, like I said, November, I think maybe a few months ago, I had my husband sit in one of my sessions. Now, interestingly enough, I access mine through BetterHelp. And the reason why I did that is so I could access a person that's out of state. Because it's just the community in which I live in, it's big, but it's small. And I don't know, I've seen therapists in this area, and I just, it's like you're in the field. And so I'm like, I'd rather, anyway, so I do actually phone therapy. I find phone therapy more helpful, just because I don't have any kind of visual, So anyway, it was a phone session, but I thought it was helpful. I mean, my husband is very supportive of a lot of, what I'm going through, and
I went through BetterHelp. I went through BetterHelp, and then my insurance didn't end up covering anyone through them. So, Wellcore is actually who I go through now, and they found one, and she's in Houston. I mean, I never see her in real life, but we do virtually until they just got slammed with a hurricane and no power. So we do, but she calls me like you were talking about Tommy. She calls me if she knows I'm going through something. It doesn't matter. Like this morning, she's already called or texted, check in.
I love that. That's amazing.
I do too. I love it.
That's a dedicated person to what they do, and I love that. It's really important. I think that's just an amazing quality.
And for me, on the other side as a therapist, I do that. Even though I think there are some therapists that say because of confidentiality, about tech, through text messaging and stuff, I have a special, obviously business number that I text through, and people say, there could be, people could hack it, or there's not as much confidentiality, obviously, with electronic communication, but I find it as a better means, like you all talked about, just communication and being able to have that quick kind of check-in. But I do, yeah, but I will set boundaries and say, hey, to be on call 24/7 is kind of a lot as a therapist. So I'll say, hey, if you contact me, I'm available this time. I'll try to get back with you if it's an urgent matter, of course. But if it's something, I'll try to get back with you within like the same day. If it's a weekday, you know what I'm saying? Like setting parameters and boundaries for communication, so they're aware of it. And so if it's something, it also, I think, shows that there is some, accessibility, but there's also there's some other people you can go to or some other resources you can access.
And see, I think she gets tired because she texts me or she'll call me, check in, and I'm like, sometimes I think she gets so aggravated with me because I'm like, I'm busy, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude, and I appreciate the check-in, but I still have to have real life and work. But I appreciate her doing that. I mean, it makes my whole entire day just to know that someone called and checked in on me.
I can't believe she does it. And I was shocked when Tommy told me that. My guy doesn't even, when I am done, he just says, like, if you have any questions or issues, just shoot me an email. Like, I don't have his phone number. He doesn't have my phone number. Like, I didn't even, I thought that was so amazing that she texted Tommy. Now, they've been seeing each other for a long time, I think. And they're comfortable with that boundary. My guy, I wouldn't even ask. I mean, there's just not. But I mean, I'm sure that he would answer an email if I needed him. I'm sure I could have an emergency session if I needed him, for sure. He's accessible, but not that accessible.
Right.
Well, do y'all mind if we get into some comments?
Sure.
Answer some questions. Okay. So let's see. Oh, look who it is.
I love Ursina.
I know. And Reese, if you can see that better, I'm not having my eyes are
Yeah.
not.
You want me to read it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Ursina, thank you so much, Keilah, for your important work. Mental health is so important, underrated, and stigmatized. I am fortunate to have access to mental health services in Switzerland. Ursina is an oncologist. She's amazing in Switzerland.
And I had the lovely met her yesterday. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is amazing. I love that woman. She's a dear friend.
Yes. Okay.
I would actually be interested in hearing about other people's experiences in other countries in terms of mental health access.
Right.
That would be interesting. I'm not trying to force Ursina to come on, or anyone else. I know Jazzy Girl Sarah's in Finland. Other people in different countries, what their experience has been if they've accessed mental health there.
Yeah, that's a really good topic, actually. Maybe you should consider that.
Yeah, Ursina, so let us know, please. Okay, let's see.
Do you want me to read that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm
okay.
The lights this way and I can't see.
I'm fairly used to doing it. I'll do it.
Thank you.
Dizzy, dizzy, bang, bang. I think being open about our individual struggles can help others who may hesitate to reach out for help because of fear of what others may think of them.
The stigma, the mental health stigma. And I'm going to give y'all a really good, I told Gretchen this. I was so mad. I texted her in all caps. I was so mad. And it's right after your live the other night, Reese, whenever I got off and I found all that. And like I said, this is no politics, but it doesn't matter. Someone shot at someone it should have never happened. And I was just like, didn't know how to feel about it. And I'm like, did somebody just try to assassinate this is what is going on. The first thing the news says is mental health. And I went insane myself. Daryl goes, whoa, babe, slow down, please. I'm like, no, I'm mad. And actually the word I used was I was so mad. I said, they go to mental health first. They blame it on mental health. This is what causes the mental health stigma. I said, this is not mad. This is passionate now. I said, but they will not ever go back on there and retract it if they're wrong. And there's where the stigma stays. That's a good point. Tired of it. I'm so sick of that. That is a passion deep in my soul with the stigma. So I totally understand. And that is why this is so important.
I love that. And I love you're the perfect person for it because you are so passionate about it.
Gretchen, did you want to?
Well, yeah, I just kind of dovetail on that comment, Keilah, which is I think it erroneously sets a precedent that people with mental health issues are violent. Um, and I'll tell you, I've been in multiple settings, including inpatient psychiatric, acute, people that have acute psychosis and suicidal or homicidal thoughts, and I rarely see it. I don't know, it makes it scary, like, oh, it's mental health, and this was the reason why, and so this is like, and then people can equate the two and correlate the two too much. Now, some people would argue, to get on a roof of a building and, like, to basically to do a violent act like that, you're probably not the most mentally stable person. There's something wrong. That may be true, but let's talk about mental health in a more productive way, not just throwing it up there, right? Like, let's talk about it more specifically.
Yeah, because it always comes up when there's something bad happens. But what are you going to do about it? Nothing. You never hear it again until the next bad thing happens.
Right.
Right. And I mean, systematically, I've been down in Southern California now for about 20 years. And, I've worked in the schools, I've worked in different capacities, and I haven't seen a whole lot of change in policies in the public or private forum, especially public. Like, it's kind of at the school level, and I don't know, Reese, what, with Huxley schools in Kansas City, and it'd be interesting now where you are now, how many like school psychologists are primarily just doing testing assessments for services. They're not sitting with the kids and having meetings and
no
the time to. And the counselors are very stretched. I mean, we had one counselor at my son's elementary school with like 500 students from K through 5. They were there like maybe 1-2 days, maybe 1 day a week, 2 days a week, if that. And they're going to other elementary schools because the funding is not there. They don't prioritize it, in my opinion.
No, they do not. And if we started young like that, Gretchen, I think that would make a big impact.
I was going to say, imagine how much that would help. Imagine how much that would help.
People
to
would
actually have someone there on, around the clock that can help with that. It's too bad that, like you said, there's no funding for that. It just frustrates me. Like, there's just the wrong people are being paid for the wrong professions, in my opinion. It's like, this is so important. That should be provided, because I think it would change the future to have that available for kids.
Yeah, because if you start there, they're not raised with that stigma. They're actually going to get to talk through it, and they're not going to, you have to start somewhere. Why not there?
I still don't get the stigma. It's like, this is 2024. You go to the doctor for anything else. You go to the doctor for anything that you feel like you need to see a doctor for. Why is your mental health not part of that?
Your brain is part of your body. Okay, so if you have diabetes, you cannot go get an x-ray on your pancreas to see that it isn't working anymore, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right.
Okay, so you can go get an x-ray of your bone to show that it's broken, but you can't go get an x-ray of your liver to see if the enzymes are correct. Same thing with your brain. I mean, this is part of your body. It's all together. And there's just a lot of resources. There's a lot of resources out there about that. That your mind, we at my facility, and I see the same doctor. She treats my mental and physical so that it is combined and we get better level of care.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, speaking to what Reese said earlier about postpartum, it's like, I remember giving birth to my son, and they give you, like, I think maybe they gave me like what they call a back depression inventory, which is a standardized instrument in our field. Maybe that, or some questions about depression. And right after I gave birth, just as like a screening measure, but no follow-up. Like, I don't think at that time I really because like, your body and your mind are going through so much of a process, like in the days following before I was discharged from the hospital. But I did suffer from postpartum, and it was like, there was following up to have checks, your 6-week check, your this week check, to follow up after you have a baby with the gynecologist. And nothing against doctors, they do great work. But there could be an inclusion of more mental health awareness in those appointments. At least I hope there is now. I mean,
I don't know though. We just had 2 babies born into our family here. Like my roommate has a granddaughter that's 3 weeks old, and we have a grandson that's 2 weeks old. And I'm not. She's staying over with her daughter because her daughter has mental health issues, and she had to come off her meds when she got pregnant. And my friend will not. She's not going to leave her right now because that's a real. But no one's there's as far as I know. I wonder in Scientology. Okay, so they're not allowed to have mental health. So how many women? I know that there was this big, huge deal about Brooke Shields, right, taking antidepressants for postpartum depression. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's a huge deal in Scientology. It's not even labeled. I mean, there's no such thing as postpartum depression in Scientology. But guys, again, those words don't exist. I didn't even know what PTSD was. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So, but they do have something called a pregnancy assist. It's done on the meter, and it starts when you're pregnant. And then they do the postpartum assist after you deliver the baby. And it's to get the engram out for you and the baby, which is the major incident that occurred. Birth and death are engrams, and it's to get the reactive mind all cleared up. And so I had a pregnancy assist, and it's very, very lengthy. And they do it while you're delivering as well. And of course you have to have a silent birth and all those things. There's a lot to it. And it's nuts. Yeah. There is no like checking in on you in Scientology after you have the baby. Like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? None of that. You're auditing out all your past births, all your past life births and all that. It's not anything that's realistic or helpful.
And I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine that. I guess that's what we're here for. Here's a place for people to fall, to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all walks, right? We come from all walks.
We do.
That's right.
Mandy, Reese, I can't read.
Oh, sorry.
I can't see it.
I just turned 40. I can still read. So let's use my eyeballs.
I'm 50. I can't. So my glasses need to be increased.
Let me use them while I still have my near vision. My church was against therapy too, because they want you to take it to church counseling. Yes. Wow. Yeah. That makes sense.
Wow. That sounds like the little cult that I was in among like Marilyn. We were about the same. Yeah. That's pretty much how it is.
Well, and I'll say this, I think pastoral counseling is, a field that people get trained in. And people go to their pastor, their minister, their priest, their, head of church for counseling. But at the exclusion of other secular therapy, that's, I don't know about that. But if people want to, I'm always people that is more spiritual religious, and that's something that they feel comfort in, if that's helpful. But yeah, if it's just that's obviously can be harmful.
Lord, I'm probably messing all this up because I cannot see him. So let's see. Oh, Mandy, this is good.
You can also find places that go off of your income. I pay $10 a session. That's amazing. If you need help finding someone, please let me know. That's amazing, Mandy.
Mandy, thank you. Thank you for that. Truly. And Squirrel Girl.
I found the most important thing in therapy is to be 100% open and honest, or you're just wasting your own money and the therapist's time. Absolutely, Squirrel Girl. That to me goes without saying. If you're going into therapy with the idea that you're going to get away with something, or, they're not going to find out, you are more importantly just wasting everybody's time, including your own.
Yeah.
Izzy Dizzy Bang Bang. It can be especially challenging to access therapy if you don't live near a big city. And I know the virtual options were quite limited for my mother who was on Medicare. Yeah. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere now. I'd probably have to drive a ways to get to a therapist, but luckily I'm just going to stick with my guy from Kansas City, and that's a telehealth visit.
And I love my telehealth. I mean, I wouldn't go anywhere else. If I could go to, get out and go. I love the convenience of it, but I like doing it at my own pace, and I can do it at home. And the homework, I mean, especially with the EMDR, that now have to start over. But I did like the EMDR, and I liked it with the telehealth. Now I'm going to have to wait until she gets internet service back, but I prefer that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I like it too. I was driving to my therapist the first 6 months of seeing him. And one morning he messaged me and said, I won't be in the office today. We're going to have to do it via telehealth. And I was like, what does that mean? What do I do? Where do I go? And I clicked the link and it was so easy. And I was in my robe and I was like, why haven't I been doing this the last 6 months? I was driving 30 minutes to his office.
That's how I feel about it.
I have to get up, get ready, brush my teeth. I don't have to do that now. So after that, I never went to his office again. I was like, and he said, we can do this anytime you want. And I thought, it's just so much easier. It's so convenient. I don't have to put makeup on. I don't have to.
You're more comfortable at home or wherever you're at.
It was amazing. I was like, what a time to be alive.
Right?
Yeah. Sarah Bellman, I love her. Question, where in Texas are you, Keilah?
I am in Southeast Texas, right on the Gulf of Mexico and the Louisiana border. I am in Orange County, Texas. And it is way down here in Hurricane City. So we got lucky last year, not so lucky this year.
Oh, I love Erica so much. She's one of my friends I met in Seattle. I'm back in therapy since watching Reese and trying to truly open up to get to the deep childhood trauma that has followed me for decades. That's amazing.
Oh,
Erica,
that
I'm
is
so proud of you. Good for you. I love her. She's a beautiful person. I love her.
That's really amazing. Reese, you touch more people than you even realize.
I guess so. I mean, it's shocking to me, but you know what? Whatever it takes. I just want people to be able to help themselves. It's amazing. I love that she's doing that. It's so inspiring.
Very, very much so. So I think, let me see. I believe that was all. Oh, wait, no. I did see this one right here. I do want to ask this one. I hope it's the right one that comes up. It's for you, Reese.
Oh, Izzy again. Did you ever feel like those Scientology sessions ever helped you, Reese? Just curious if there was ever some benefit. At the time, absolutely, because it was all I knew and all I had. And I believed everything that was happening to me. So I believed the meter. And when they say your needle is floating, and when I say, oh my God, I'm exterior right now, I'm outside of my body. I mean, yeah, it happened to me all the time. And when I would recall past live things and cry about it. And yeah, I definitely thought that was real, what I was experiencing. And I thought that I was being helped because there was no other help options. But now that I've been taken outside of the fishbowl and I can see the world, I'm like, oh, that was completely a lie, and we were just following a false, creepy guy with rotten teeth. So yeah, I definitely thought so, but now I see the truth, and I was not helped. But most of the time I would walk out of a session going, I feel great, just to get out of it, because they would last. I've been in session for 10 hours.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
not
therapy anymore. That's torture.
It's never an hour. They don't put a clock on it, guys. They want you to get in as often as you can. And so, yeah, I've gone 10 hours in session. You're starving. You have to go to the bathroom. You just want to get out of there. You're being what's the word? Like interrogated. You're just interrogated. And when you think that you're better and you go, okay, I feel so much better. They go, good. And the needle doesn't float on the meter. And they go, is there an earlier similar incident like that one? So you just talked about this for 2 hours. You get it off your chest. It's over. And you think you're done. And they go, great. Is there an earlier similar time? So then you have to go through another 2 hours of finding something past life. So no, it's exhausting.
So yeah,
most of the time.
But
do you have to pay? Reese, do you have to pay for those auditing sessions? You do, right?
It's like $600 an hour. Yeah,
Oh, so there's an incentive for them to keep you in as long as possible then.
absolutely. Yeah. It's thousands of dollars to buy auditing packages, which are 12 and a half hours at a time. So you buy 12 and a
Wow.
half hour packages at a time. And once you get through that one, they want you to buy another one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is this one?
Erica says, since 2020, my insurance now uses Talkspace and it is all on my phone. Game changer. That's amazing.
Okay, wait a minute. What is
That'd be great.
Talkspace?
Never heard of it.
Talkspace is another type of like BetterHelp. It's
Oh, okay.
one that I don't know. There's been more and more like celebrities also like kind of, which I think is probably good to tout some of these. Like Michael Phelps. I don't know if he was Talkspace or BetterHelp. I think Tom Brady recently talked about maybe it was BetterHelp. You know, there's some that are coming out and talking about their experience, and but yeah, Talkspace is another more wide-reaching platform for people. Company.
And I do know that, like, okay, so I have, yes, for my 50th birthday, I got a Meta Quest 3. And I love it. And maybe virtual reality, but I love it because I can get in there with Angela. We sit there. She's in California. I'm here. And we talk to each other. We ride roller coasters together, which she don't like. We just do all these things. It actually lets me reach out, but there's also mindfulness in there. And we have a room that we go into for therapy, and it's just a relaxation room called Lumen, and you can go through all these topics and you can do your mindfulness sessions, and it's all in virtual reality, and I'm sitting there with her. It's amazing. That's just something else
That is
they're
amazing.
offering.
Never heard of that either.
Yep. My little very expensive piece of equipment.
So I think that's
right there.
Yeah. Reese, I want to say I really appreciate you coming on today, and sorry I wasn't able to join till later, but we really definitely appreciate your time.
Yes,
we do. Guys, I really enjoyed this, and Gretchen, I hope at some point we can do it again and have you the full time, because I really enjoy talking.
I won't be in the car going to Vegas, you mean?
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not judging there, girl.
I know. We could just ride along next time.
Yeah,
but
right.
No, Reese, thank you for being here, and thank you for being very open about this. And you really matter, and you really make it easy for this community to talk, because you do talk about it. You're not embarrassed to talk about it, and that's great.
No, not at all. And I think we should continue to do this. And I look forward to you having people from the chat on. I just think this really matters. I'm glad that I got to be your first guest. I want to do this again. I have to go pick up Huxley. Otherwise, I would absolutely stay longer. And I do intend to do a show later this afternoon on my channel. So I'll be back. But
awesome.
I have to go pick him up for something. My mom's not.
Well, that's
home.
great.
So,
I will see you there. And Gretchen, thank you I know you were driving, but thank you so much.
Gals, I love you both. Really, truly. You mean so much to me. And thank you for having me. This is very important. I hope this reaches far and wide.
Thank you to the mods who have done an amazing job, and to Kathy Ann, always backstage working her behind off. And I just really appreciate all of you that have been here. This was our first show. I appreciate it. It's more than you know that it means to me, and I know to all of us up here, that it shows us that it is needed. So as long as you keep coming, we're going to keep providing.
Right. Yeah. It's so true. And they'll keep coming for sure. We know our community. They're amazing.
But thank you both. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And thank you in the chat. And if we missed anything, I'm going to go back through the chat and leave some comments. I like what Liz says, race you to the comments.
Yeah, that's cute.
But, all right. Well, I will talk to you all later, and we'll
talk soon.
And please go to the Facebook group. Bye, y'all.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.